About a year ago, I started a series on my YouTube channel that I called the Quail Cam. The reason I called it the Quail Cam was I was trying to capture the Gambel's quail that are native to Arizona. And one of the difficulties of the quail is they're kind of a shy bird and difficult to sneak up on. So I wanted to know when they come through, and they usually come through in a large group called a covey. So for that purpose, I started looking for a game camera, and I found this Wildview WV14. And I've had it out for a few days, about a week, and I want to give you my opinion about this game camera and what I've used it for and what its continued use will be and how I think it's going to help me as a photographer. So I decided that I wanted to get a game camera. I did a little bit of research, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money right out of the box because I wasn't sure I would use it a lot or that I would even really like it. So I found this one. It's the Wildview WV14. It's a pretty basic entry-level camera, and I got it at a local outfitter, $29. And it's got comes with some pretty decent specs. It promises that it's 14 megapixel camera, that it'll record 5, 10, and 20-second videos. It'll have, it has a 60-foot range with an infrared sensor that triggers the camera. You can do 1, 2, or 3 burst photos in the stills. And there's 5 to 60-second recovery time between firings, so it depends on the sensitivity that you're using. And it uses a mini SD card and operates on 8 AA batteries. So I thought, well, you know, for 25 bucks, 30 bucks, can't go too wrong. So what came in the box was the camera and this little strap that I haven't even undone yet. It feeds through these little loops here in the back and would go around a tree or a post or something like that. And it does have a standard quarter 20 screw on the bottom here to screw into a tripod. And the controls are very, very basic. And I'm not going to go over all the controls here. If you want to know about all the controls on the camera and you want to know its various specifics, check this video out right here. I found this guy, and he's really does a very nice job of explaining it, and that's how I learned about the controls as well. The only thing that I found kind of finicky was the buttons. You go through the menu system, and it's just kind of finicky to get each one of the multi-presses of the button to get to the mode that you're looking for, and I found that to be just a little bit finicky. And it's got a pretty nice little latch here. You can hook it. You can even lock it down if you wanted to. You could lock it to something, like if you say you're going to hook it to a tree or a post out of way where you can't observe the camera, and you want to make sure it's still there when you get back. You could lock it, and that might help prevent theft. Now I want to talk about the overall resolution of the camera, the quality of the photographs, and the quality of the video. First, let's get this over with. The video is terrible. The camera has 14 megapixels, but only about half of those translate into video. If you want to zoom in to get a better look at an animal, the image is so grainy that it's completely unusable. The video is really kind of useless. It does not fire after dark. It only fires during daylight hours. The infrared does not work. The image quality of the still photos in good light is actually pretty good. At 14 megapixels, the animals are very identifiable. Even at night, under the infrared, the camera does a reasonably good job. One of the things that I have done for identification purposes is to string several of the individual photos together to make a short video. So for identification purposes, this works actually very, very well. Okay, so my purpose. Why did I want a game camera? Well, as I mentioned, the Quail Cam project that I started, I wanted to see if there was a pattern that these birds have as they come through the yard. So over the few days that I've used this camera, I was able to identify when the birds are coming through, and it's been actually very, very useful. So I could actually see the advantage of getting a more sophisticated camera, like another DSLR body, and set that up with an infrared trigger to actually get some good photos of birds and wildlife that are a little more shy. Overall impression of this camera, I like it. I like it a lot. I can see me setting it up and using it at different times. I could even see me taking it to various locations and hiding it, and leaving it overnight and seeing what kind of creatures show up. Eventually, I would like to get another second DSLR body with an infrared trigger, and some of the infrared triggers are good for lightning strikes as well as animals, game camera, that sort of thing. So I could see that being something that would be beneficial moving forward as I determine how I want to do some of my wildlife photography in the future. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes today. I know you could be anywhere, and I appreciate your time. So if this video has been of any benefit to you, please hit the like button and subscribe. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me today. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time.